Welcome back to this week's episode of Buckeye Blitz. I am your host, Josh, as always, with my co-host, Dustin. Dustin, how are you today?
I am great.
Are you,
but
though?
Could be a lot better.
I was going to say, are you, though?
I am great because we were talking about Ohio State, and I'm always great when we talk about Ohio State. But if you cannot tell by my voice, because it is a little bit better today than it has been, I am sick.
His physical health. You know, Dustin remains to be the most dedicated person that I know. This man records on his birthday 2 years in a row, and he comes in. He's deathly ill. I'm not even in the same room as him.
I'm not deathly ill.
He's deathly ill, and he's in here recording today. But
Thursday I was much worse, and that is why we did not record Thursday, and that is why we're recording Saturday now.
Yeah. So today's Saturday morning. I think. Don't quote me on it, but this might be the first time we've recorded on a Saturday.
Probably, honestly.
Because usually we play on Saturday.
Yeah.
So.
And luckily it's a bye week, so it's kind of nice I got sick on a bye week because we got to take our own little break there. So, it's good timing. If it's going to happen, you might as well happen that way.
Yeah. Your body really helped you out, I think.
Yeah.
So, I want to dive right into it since it's a bye week. We don't really have a ton to talk about. I want to dive right into it. Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the game?
It was a great game, so I would love to talk about it.
I think that was one of the best games I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Just flat out. Like, baseball game, football game, NFL game, hockey game, anything. Just one of the best sporting events I've ever been to. It was awesome. It was such an awesome atmosphere. The game was incredible. It doesn't beat, like, Michigan's, that kind of game.
Yeah,
But do you agree with me?
I think, because of the fact that I would say all the OS, not all the OS games, but my, top 5 sporting events I've ever been to probably are held by all Ohio State games.
Okay.
Because, there's so much bigger deal, and, there's more fun a lot of times. Like, some of the Indians games I'm going to and Cavs games and Browns games are mostly games that are, not very competitive because I'm just trying to get the cheap tickets.
Right.
But either way, I think that this game probably, would have a good chance of being the third best game I've ever been to.
Right.
Behind Michigan my freshman year when we blew them out. When we went to overtime,
Yeah.
that was a great game.
And Penn State.
Penn State was probably the best sporting event I've ever been to in my life. That was an insane
That game was crazy.
It was amazing.
That game was absurd. The Michigan game too, though.
Yeah. And even last year,
both
Michigan
of those
game
are
was pretty
absurd.
great too because anytime you can blow out Michigan and I'm just yelling F Michigan the entire game, it's amazing.
But this game...
It was a lot of fun. I did not expect it to be that fun.
Me either.
Yeah.
No, I really didn't. And everybody was kind of down about the weather. The weather is what kind of added so much fun to it for me.
It did not ruin it at all.
No, and there was just thousands of people, obviously, and there's not an empty seat in the place, and it's downpouring.
Yeah.
And everybody's just drenched. And nobody left, and it was just everybody was so rowdy. It was such a great. I had a fantastic time,
I was prepared for the rain, and I think that was the biggest thing too. I just had my rain poncho on. I had some rain socks on. I got home, took those off, and I was
rain
dry.
Socks.
Yeah.
What are those?
It was just I had 2 pairs of socks on. I had my normal OSU socks on because I always have to have those on. Those are just my superstition.
Good luck, yeah.
And then just socks that I wear when I'm hiking. So that if they get wet, they're just water wicking, I guess, whatever it's called or whatever. But my feet were dry where everyone else was soaked. I was dry. My shoes were soaked too. But it was a good excuse to throw everything in the wash, even my shoes, and wash them and everything. But
for a college student that doesn't do laundry a lot, talking about me, it was a good excuse to do some laundry.
Definitely, I just threw everything that I had and I just threw it in there, and it was great. It was just one of those days where after I just wanted to lay and do nothing because I was just tired from the rain, but it was a good just relaxing because you felt happy with how that game went. If it wasn't Wisconsin, I don't think it would have been as funny either, though, too, because I grew up with a good friend of mine who was a big Wisconsin fan, and his whole family was a Wisconsin fan, so I've always had this, extra hatred for Wisconsin because I was tired of hearing things about them, even though every time we talked about them, Ohio State was still better than them, so it never mattered. But still, it was great to get a good ass kicking against Wisconsin, especially when every year they think that they're better than us, and we prove them wrong every single year.
This game, I think my prediction was right. I said that they're going to hold Jonathan Taylor to under 75 yards.
Yeah.
Nailed that one, didn't I?
And then my score prediction was actually kind of close, too. I said 31-10. but we got one touchdown higher than that and kept them a field goal under. I was happy with that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, the game was just incredible. I mean, I think I cracked the code. I cracked the code to being a sports fan. So I tailgate before every game. I consume a few adult beverages, and during the game, I'm always midway through, I'm like, oh, this is miserable, Yeah. The hangover hits me during the game, which is the worst. This week I figured it out. I cracked the code.
Okay.
Step 1, you have to have a nice breakfast.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't have to be nice. You just have to eat a lot.
Yeah.
You have to consume a substantial amount of food. So I had some of my roommates' parents actually came into town, so you know what happens when parents come to town. They just bring so much food.
Yeah.
Donuts and pepperoni rolls and mixed drinks and stuff, nice stuff,
Yeah.
And they came, so I ate so much food. I ate so much food beforehand. I'm consuming, like I said, some drinks, and then get to the game. You have to. I know it sucks, but you have to do it. You have to buy one beer while you're there. They're expensive. They're $8, but you have to buy one while you're there, and you just have to nurse it the entire game.
Okay.
I promise you, it'll help hold you over. It'll hold you over so that by the middle of the game, you're not miserable. And when you leave, you go home, take a really long nap, and you wake up by 8 o'clock, and you're good to go and do whatever you want to do. Still have some time to hang out, or you can go back to sleep. So I figured it out. I had an excellent Saturday because of it.
Good. I guess you'll have to test it out again next week, see if it's true or just a fluke.
Yeah. But it hurts buying an $8 beer.
It does.
It really does.
Yeah.
But they give you tall boys, so it's only $4 overpriced. Not
still too much, but you got to have a good beer at the game sometimes. Like a baseball game, they're so expensive.
So expensive.
I can't pass them up sometimes. They hit the spot. Yeah, I mean, it was great. And I didn't expect us to have that easy of a game either. That was the best we've looked at I think all season personally.
I think that Ohio State really made a statement because we're obviously up 10-0 at halftime. I was texting my dad. I was like, I'll take it.
Oh.
I'll absolutely take being up 10-0 at halftime against Wisconsin. Wisconsin comes out first drive, immediate touchdown.
But would you agree that touchdown should have never happened? Because I had this discussion with the people after that game, and even when it happened,
you were on Reddit arguing with people, weren't you?
I was not. That touchdown was for that Wisconsin had fluke.
Okay, explain.
Because
take me back through the drive.
So they didn't have a drive. I don't know if you just don't remember because it's been a little while. It's been a week since the game. So we had the ball.
Right.
We punted the ball. And correct. Drew Chrisman just completely shanked it. And they had a perfect field position. They got 2 plays, score a touchdown.
Okay.
And that's going to happen. They were already in the red zone. Even if they didn't score the touchdown, they were going to get a field goal just because of where Drew positioned them.
Okay.
There's nothing you can do. They were going to score no matter what in that position unless they missed a field goal. And unfortunately, ended up with the touchdown instead of the field goal.
It was a good throw.
Yeah. And then that was a fluke catch too. It was yes, you have to be good to get that. It's not there could be just a fluke and we catch it, but it wasn't something that we could have done better to prevent it. Is what I'm saying.
It was perfect coverage.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if they come out and score, now it's a 3-point game.
Yeah, yeah.
Now you can fold over and kind of play more defensively, conservative, scared almost,
Yeah.
Or you could do what they did and just wake the beast, and they literally just went off the second half. Well, I mean, would they score 30 points? 30 points the second half.
Yeah, we scored 28 points in the second half.
That's incredible. That was awesome.
Yeah, because it was different for us too. Because I think we both agreed that we would kind of start off slow in the first quarter, which we did. We didn't score at all in the first quarter, but neither did they. And then we got to the second quarter, and we didn't score the normal 21 points that we do every time. But that's why I kept telling everyone, I was like, all right, now the time to score 20.
We're a second quarter team.
We are, and even though we didn't score 20, we did have a really good quarter. We got those 10 points to have a really nice lead and going into the half and everything, and then we come back. we let that touchdown up, which was a 3 plays. They only had to get 30 yards to score that touchdown. They were at the 30-yard line. So like that's why I say it shouldn't, like, we just put ourselves in a bad position. Like, it wasn't like they earned it necessarily. Like, they didn't have to work hard to get it.
And didn't Justin Fields take 2 sacks too on the?
Honestly, I can't remember completely, but he might have. Yeah,
I think he at least took 1 because we were like. It was like 3rd and 4 or 4th and forever.
Yeah, we did not have a good position or anything like that. But then, like after that, we got those 4 back-to-back touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, it was great.
The thing is that I'm thinking about though is that when we come out, it was like a 3-quarter game for me. The first quarter, it was like they were just trying to figure stuff out. The weather played a huge factor into the game, I thought.
It did.
Our opening drive, would we go 3 and out? Probably like the first time all year that we went 3 and out on an opening drive. And I think Justin Fields dropped a snap on the first drive.
Yeah.
It was like 3rd down and maybe like 4 or 5. I can't remember.
He picked it up and was still like was able to do something with it, but yeah.
Yeah, he dropped it. It bounced right back to him.
Yeah.
You ever wonder like how that happens? Some people are just so lucky that happens. You know, it bounces and then comes right back to him. But that's what happened. And I don't think we got it on that play. So the whole first quarter, I think they were just trying. Ohio State always starts out slow too because I think that they try different things to kind of see what defense they're running and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the first few drives were always just setting stuff up for the future. So it was partially that, and the weather played a bigger factor than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, I mean, like our defense is always like great in the first quarter, just our offense is still figuring things out, and testing things out. And that's why I think we go off in that second quarter because we figured out what they're doing. Let's just go after them now. The thing that I thought was like really interesting about the weather was that. I was trying to look at it a lot after the game, just what people from Wisconsin were saying, what people from Ohio State were saying.
Right.
And it was weird because Ohio State people were all saying Wisconsin's lucky that it was a rainy game because all they do is run. That's what I thought too because I was like,
I thought that as well. Like, I thought that's what they would want.
Yeah, like we would just be passing all over. Like now it's just who's got the better run game, who's got the better defense. And at the same time though, like I was worried because of it because I thought, now we don't have to worry. Like now their pass game, they don't have to throw. They're just gonna have to run the ball, and that's where I get worried sometimes because they have run games,
especially in a close game when it's 10-0.
Exactly.
Like,
but either way, a lot of
really
Ohio State's players were saying, "Thank the gods, like we have the rain." Wisconsin should be thanking the gods that they have rain because now can be a close game.
Right.
But they got over on Wisconsin's side, and I was looking through a bunch of people. Wisconsin, they were like, Ohio State's lucky they got rain. If there wasn't rain, Wisconsin would have been killing them right now. Like
I don't see
it
that.
Makes no sense.
I don't see that.
No. I really think that Wisconsin was lucky they had the rain because we would have passed all over them, and we only needed. Justin Fields only needed 167 passing yards to win that game 38-7.
Right.
Like, you can't say.
How many did Jack have?
Jack had 108.
Yeah.
And he had like about the same pass percentage.
Didn't they have like 125 total yards on offense? No, they would have had to have more like a 170.
They had 180. They had 191. Total yards.
I'll take
because they only had 83 rushing yards. Yeah, we held the whole team to under 200 yards in general. Michigan State had more yards against us than them.
But there's one thing that we have to talk about: the big highlight, the big storyline from the game. Chase Young, dude.
Yeah, like freaking way to come on the scene, people. Like you're a little late to the party.
A little late to the party.
We've been talking about it since last year.
What the hell? 4-sack game. Look at that. If you look at that kid's stat line, how many sacks is he? What is he up to? 13?
I think it's 13.5. Let me check just to make sure that's true. But his stat line was absolutely insane.
His season stat line is absurd, but four sacks in one game.
Yeah. His total sacks this year are up to 13.5, the best he's ever had. Going into this season,
yeah.
His career.
Well, what was your prediction? Well, what was your prediction?
I think it was 11.5.
Yeah, 11.5. We're like, I don't know if he can do it, you know?
Yeah.
We're like 3/4 of the way through the year, and he's already crushing that.
Like, before going into the season, his career sacks amount was 13.5. He has now matched his career.
In one season.
Yeah.
In 3/4 of a season.
Exactly. Like his stat line for that game, he had 6 tackles, all solo, 4 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, and he had 2 forced fumbles.
2 forced fumbles. On the year, he has like 6 forced fumbles.
That's insane.
Dude, his stat line is absurd. And the thing is, I would have never would have guessed he would have had 4 sacks against Wisconsin of all teams.
Oh, yeah.
O-line U, you know?
Uh-huh.
They just couldn't figure him out. They were trying different things. They were trying double teaming. They were trying single teaming him. They were shuffling, pulling. Like, they tried everything that in their playbook to try to stop this guy, and they literally could not. You know? He's just a man among boys.
He really is. And, like, that was literally the entire weekend. That's all Ohio State Twitter and social media has been about. Is this man Chase Young? Like, he has skyrocketed to
national
top 5
media
Heisman.
Off.
Yeah, national media went off. Everyone everyone was saying, if you don't have him in your top 5 Heisman watch, you lose your vote.
Yeah,
like literally, like.
National media really turned it on this week after that performance.
If he gets into voted as a finalist, he'll be the first defensive player since Jabril Peppers, and he wasn't even a true defensive guy. He got that just because they were only good because of him. And
he did everything, yeah.
And the thing is that right now, if you look at top 10 Heisman odds, 3 of them are OSU players: Justin Fields, J.K. Dobbins, and Chase Young. It's like. Chase Young, J.K. Dobbins, and Chris Olave were the story of that game. Chris Olave, 7 catches, 93 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was insane in that game. KJ Hill had 1 catch the entire game. J.K. Dobbins had 3 catches. Everyone else, it was just Chris Olave. He did all of our catches the entire game.
That hurts KJ Hill a lot.
It does. I'll have to look at what his total is at now.
We'll update you guys next week on that because we have how many games left? We have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, we have 4 games left.
4 regular season games. Hopefully a Big Ten championship and hopefully CFP. So he has a minimum of 4 games to get it done.
5, because we already have a bowl game guaranteed.
Okay, yeah, minimum 5. You're right.
So minimum 5, but a chance to have 4,
7.
5, 6, 7 games.
No, it would be
if we get 2 games in the CFP.
It would be 8, right?
Because it would be 4 regular season games, 1 Big Ten championship game, and then 2 CFP games.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. I counted the bowl game as well. Yeah, we'll have to see. He has to be like, 20, right? 20 away now?
I think it's less than that, because I think last time we talked about it, he was already within a lot less than that.
1 hurts, though.
It does.
And I think they're going to feed him. Hopefully this week against Maryland, or next week against Maryland, I think they're going to feed him.
I hope so.
Because I want him to break it bad.
I mean, he deserves it.
I also want it to be a home game where he breaks it. That would be cool.
Yeah.
So I don't really want him to wait till Michigan to do it.
I hope, though, if he does break it in the home game, they, announce it, say that this, he's just achieved this goal and everything. He's at, I don't know if this is updated with, his most recent stats, but he's at 174 receptions. The leader is at 191.
So he's 17 away?
Yeah.
Dude,
18 to pass.
It's due 18, so he needs 4, 8, 12, 16. He needs 4.5 a game.
He's had an 8-catch game this year. If he gets one of those games, he's instantly halfway there.
Yeah, 4.5 a game is what he's at right now.
Yeah. He just reached 2,000 receiving yards, though. He's at 2,001 receiving yards for a career, which puts him at 9th overall.
That's crazy.
It is. He's the thing about KJ Hill is he's just been so quietly good.
You would never even know.
Every team that he's been on, hasn't even been the best receiver.
Yeah.
Even this year, I would say Chris Olave has been our best receiver.
Yep. Garrett Wilson actually has been going off too.
I thought he had so much more in that game, but he only had 1 catch.
He had a punt return.
But he had a really nice punt return.
Yeah.
He is easily our best punt return, and I am annoyed that we keep giving. I love McCall because he's a Cleveland guy, but I'm annoyed that we keep giving it to him.
I agree. I think it's probably time to. McCall is one of those unfortunate circumstances where the guy really never just really panned out.
He had Garrett only had 1 punt return. I think that whole game. Demario McCall had all the other ones, and Wilson was the only one that had any return.
Yeah,
and it was for 23 yards.
Yeah, I saw that. Garrett Wilson tweeted. He said, it was like a video of him, and somebody said Garrett Wilson has wheels or something like that.
Yeah.
And Garrett Wilson quote tweeted, and he said, the video, it was Garrett Wilson's only a freshman. Fire, fire, fire. Fire emoji. And he quote tweeted and said, yeah, and I run 1 2. Those got to start turning into touchdowns. He was saying that he made a mistake or whatever. when I saw Baker Mayfield like the tweet. That's how I found out about it. But I think it's good that he's aware. He's a freshman. He's running like a freshman. Those plays got to turn into touchdowns. But I mean, I love seeing him out there. I didn't think we were going to see this much Garrett Wilson year one.
No, I didn't think so either. So just because I'm like obsessed with how like Chase Young right now, he's just absolutely insane. I just want to put his season into a little bit more perspective for everyone here. My favorite stat comparison that I found this weekend was Chase Young through 8 games compared to NFL's top 10 defensive end best season total. So he only has 8 games, but to compare people's entire seasons, these are the top 10 defensive ends in the past
college or NFL?
In their college season. Their best, so this is the best
top 10 best NFL seasons. Players' best college season.
Just their when they were in college, their best seasons.
Right.
So Myles Garrett, when he was in college, his best season, 19.5 tackles for loss, 11.5 sacks, and 5 forced fumbles.
Damn. All right. So he's already better than all of those.
Yeah. So right now, just like Chase Young, he has 13.5 tackles for loss, 13.5 sacks, and 5 forced fumbles. That means that through 8 games, Chase Young has more sacks than Clelin Ferrell. I said his name right?
Yeah, I don't really know.
Nick Bosa, Bradley Chubb, Myles Garrett, Sol Thomas, Joey Bosa, Jadeveon Clowney, and D. Jordan.
Wow.
I'm trying to remember who that is, but
D. Jordan?
I'm blanking. Yeah.
I don't know. D. Jordan. I don't know.
Either way, and then forced fumbles, he's tied for the most with Myles Garrett. Sacks wise, he's tied for the lead with Joey Bosa. And
this is for his entire season.
And these are all entire seasons. He's the only one that has 8 games. The tackles for loss he's behind on. He's losing to everyone in tackles for loss except for D. Jordan. But it's only 8 games. He could easily the leading tackles for loss is Bradley Chubb with 23, and he could pass.
And what is he at right now?
He's at 13.5.
Yeah.
But that's just insane. Like, who is
insane?
Like the most dominant college defensive player in the past 10 years? Probably Jadeveon Clowney, right?
Right.
And he has more sacks than him, more forced fumbles, and he's 10 tackles for loss away from him.
We're just witnessing something special.
We really are, and and people should have been on this a long time ago.
He just kind of came out of nowhere too, because he wasn't that great last year.
He was great after the injury, but then he fell off.
And then he fell off.
Yeah.
He really tailed off towards the end of the year.
He had 10.5 sacks, which was more than Nick Bosa, but still.
Well.
But in Nick Bosa's freshman year and everything.
Yeah, well.
I think considered one of the best years, though. But.
I think if Nick Bosa would have played last year, all the way through, he probably would have. Didn't he already have like 5 through 2 games or something like that? He probably, it would have been close. It would have been interesting to see.
Just imagine how good our team could have been if they were together. Because Chase Young would have had an even better season because he would have had Nick Bosa opposite to him.
You know how those, like Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, and James Harden, like, they always do that on Twitter, like, 3 different pictures and be like, imagine if these guys were ever on a team, you know? Like, they're going to do that next year when Nick and Chase are going off in the NFL. They're going to be like, imagine if these 2 guys ever played on the same team, you know?
Exactly.
And it's funny because they did.
I mean, like, that's the thing, too. Like, even Joey Bosa was only a year away from playing with all 3 of them.
Oh, my God. I'm actually glad. There's no way we would have played all 3 of them.
We wouldn't, yeah.
I'm glad that Joey didn't play with them.
You know what we would have done? Is what we did in against the Wisconsin game. I think something that people didn't notice a lot in the game, but both of us picked up on.
Yeah.
They had Chase Young on 3rd down as a middle linebacker. He literally just walked around, just like intimidating the offensive line, and he got in every single time.
I was looking at it, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
Chase just had this big guy just floating
massive
around.
Dude.
Just like, could you just picture like being the quarterback? You're just watching him, just staring you down.
Yeah.
He's just pacing back and forth. Just you're like, I'm screwed. And he got to him a couple times in that position.
I think I might have a hot take for you. I think that I potentially might have liked watching Joey Bosa more than I do Chase Young.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I think I would disagree, but I would like to hear what your reasoning is.
I just remember, I think it might have been because of the national championship year, but I remember feeling special about Joey Bosa in a different way. Like, it's Chase Young's. I think it's because I watch football more now to talk about it.
Yeah.
But when I was younger in high school, like watching that championship year, like I just remember Joey Bosa just being like, "Whoa, like this guy might be like the best Ohio State player ever."
He was insane.
He was insane that national championship year.
And like watching him after every sack, just that shrug,
Shrug,
like, it was like it was just so cool. And I mean, he was beloved by everyone. I mean, Chase Young is beloved too, but like even
Chase Young's so quiet. Like
he really
he's
is.
so quietly good. And I feel like Joey Bosa was very loud about being good.
Yeah.
Not necessarily with like the media and stuff, but like his celebrations and like I think he generated a lot more hype around it.
And the media made sure everyone knew who he was. When
Yeah.
Chase Young, like if you were outside of Ohio State, not many people knew him, which was wrong.
Until now.
Yeah,
Until now.
exactly.
I don't know actually.
Like that's the sad part. Is like there's literally at most 7 games, at the fewest 5 games left of Chase Young's career, and people in the national media is just now finding out about him.
Yeah, right.
Where Joey Bosa, you knew about him for 2 years.
And Nick came in with the most amount of hype out of all 3 of them.
Because of Joey.
Because of Joey,
exactly.
Yeah. I felt like Nick never truly lived up to the hype. Chase never had the hype, and Joey was like the hype.
Yeah.
You know? Does that make sense?
No, I agree. And like the thing about like I think that like the crazy thing about it is like we've had 3 insane defensive ends back to back, 3 top 5 defensive ends, like Joey Bosa 3rd, Nick Bosa 2nd, Chase Young possibly 1, 3, 2, 1, and like now the question is that everyone keeps asking is who's next, and honestly, like I'm not trying to say like he's been amazing, but if there's going to pick someone, I mean, Zach Harrison's been looking nicer as the season's been going on.
As a freshman,
5-star guy.
I wasn't expecting much out of him. You know, next year's going to be a huge year for him
because I mean, like he's not really bulked up at all. Really, he's just been like this is just his pure skill on show. Where even if you just look at Chase Young from last year to this year, he's like crazy huge.
Like
he looked big like last year, and now he's even bigger.
He looked like a kid. Now he's a man. He's just a full-grown man.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 6. Well, how old is he? 6. He looks like he's 6'8". He's not that tall.
He's not that tall, but he looks huge.
He's
like,
huge. Like
you watch a game and you could be at the top of the stadium and you can pick out Chase Young from anyone on the field.
One of the guys I know had like a field pass or something for the game against Michigan State, and he was down at field level and he took a picture next to Chase Young. This dude. From the picture from like right here, like at his I don't know, in front of his body, Chase Young's head wasn't even in it. You know, and he was right next to it. It's just crazy like how big this guy is, you know? Yeah, but that was the main story coming out of the Wisconsin game.
And the quiet story that not a lot of people are talking about was J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins had another insane game. He completely showed him out. Jonathan Taylor, we held him to 52 yards. And on the same exact amount of carries, they both had 20 carries. J.K. Dobbins had 163 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Just like, even if you just look at J.K. Dobbins' receiving yards, he had more receiving yards in 3 catches than Jonathan Taylor had rushing yards.
That's absurd to me.
It is. And it's not like, and Jonathan, like, after that game, Jonathan Taylor, I think, is still ranked higher recruit-wise, but J.K. is right behind him. They had him, the most recent thing I think I saw Mel Kiper had, he had him like 21st overall pick.
I would agree. I think Jonathan Taylor's more special and more NFL caliber running back than J.K. And I'm not ashamed to say that. You know? I love J.K. and he's absolutely dominant. But I think if I wanted my team to draft between those two, I think I would go Jonathan Taylor. Just being completely unbiased.
I mean, like. Because of the fact that Jonathan Taylor's been just insane every single year.
Dude, he's like the best running back in college football, hands down.
He is. And I think the problem, like the thing about Jonathan Taylor going up against Ohio State in this game is the fact that we knew they had no passing game. And then they couldn't even have a passing game even though they wanted to because of the rain.
And every time
they just keyed up on Jonathan Taylor.
Every time they dropped back, he got sacked.
Exactly.
So it was really not working for them.
I think the best thing about showing like how good our defense is and how good Chase Young is that we were playing against possibly the best running back in the league, in the country.
He is.
And like I say I changed it because I said league is not like a really a league. But, and then you also have
CFL.
The O-line is all guys that were probably a really good chance to go to the NFL. Like Wisconsin just turns out NFL guys on the O-line year after the year, and yet Chase Young made them look like they should be in Pee Wee football. And
they had no idea.
We shut down Jonathan Taylor still.
Yeah.
And they had a top O-line and a top running back. It just shows you how good they really are.
And a better
perspective.
I mean, they don't really have that great of a passing game, but their passing game is better than it has been in the past.
Yeah.
They had Alex Hornibrook forever, dude.
Exactly.
He sucked.
Uh-huh.
He was awful.
I think he didn't even have a starting spot with Florida State where he transferred until he recently got it, just because Justin Blackman's been pretty bad.
Yeah, and he's not going to be good. I guarantee you. Alex Hornibrook's not good.
He's not at all. And even Jack Cohn's not great, but
he's better.
He's better.
He's definitely better.
He's doing better, but still not great. Just to put some perspective in the J.K. Dobbins season and career, so J.K. Dobbins now is at 3,566 career yards, which puts him at 4th all-time in rushing yards for a career, behind
That's crazy.
3 of the best, probably the 3 best running backs OSU's ever had,
Zeke,
with Archie Griffin,
Eddie.
Zeke, and Eddie George. And he's 4th. He's only 202 yards away from Eddie George. Puts him at guaranteed to pass Eddie George.
Pretty much. Knock on wood.
Yeah. And then you've got, just for his season, he's second now. He's second in college football for rushing yards with 1,110 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. So he's second, and I think that puts him at that's 3 straight 1,000 yards seasons. Only
OSU running back to do that, I think.
I think so.
In his freshman, sophomore, junior year.
Exactly, because Zeke did not do it in his freshman year, and I mean, Archie Griffin maybe, but
I don't think he did it in his freshman year either, yeah.
So he's at 1,110, which means just for a single season rushing yards, he's 380 rushing yards away from being in the top 10 for a single season. Just to put in perspective of how great OSU running backs have been.
Right.
But it's still very possible for him to get onto that top 10 because it's only 300 rushing yards away. But, I mean, it also goes to show how amazing that freshman year was.
Right. He was. I feel bad because last year I feel like all the hype died for him. You know,
yeah.
He didn't have a chance to come back to being that guy after his sophomore year because his freshman year, like national media knew about him because he was sick. Sophomore year, the hype kind of died, and it's been a long road for him to come back to. So going into last year, he was like 3rd in the Heisman watch.
He was, yeah,
and I don't even know if he's even close. I mean, until this week, was he even close?
No, we didn't even. No one was talking about J.K. for Heisman until now when he showed out Jonathan Taylor.
It's been a long road back,
yeah,
to be back in that Heisman watch. So
definitely. So, one of my predictions about J.K. going into the season was that it would be J.K.'s best year yet. In yards and touchdowns. So his best season is 1,403 rushing yards, which is his freshman year. So he's less than 300 away from that. Very possible to still pass. And then most touchdowns he's had in a year, rushing touchdowns, was 10. He's at 9. So he's one touchdown away.
Likely going to pass that.
Exactly. His most total touchdowns was 12. He's already at 11. So he's still only 1 away from writing that. So it's a very that bold prediction is very possible to be set to be true.
And that's with Master Teague playing a lot too.
Yeah, and he's been every game has been looking nicer and nicer.
Yeah,
was
Mike Weber not that good?
I don't know. He hasn't played at all in the NFL.
I don't think he's on a roster. I think he's on a practice squad.
Yeah, like with the Cowboys.
Yeah. So interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah. Anything else you have about the game?
No, we're right at about half an hour right now.
All right, yeah. So we're just gonna do a quick little preview for the OSU basketball season. Just run through the schedule.
Just touch on it really quickly.
Yeah, because they start on Wednesday. Wednesday against Cincinnati, opening up of the season against Cincinnati.
Love that.
It's a big game.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It's here?
I believe so.
Because it was there. It was in Cincy last year.
Yeah. So that'll be a good game.
Wednesday.
A really important game Wednesday.
Cop some tickets.
Mm-hmm. All the tickets are pretty decently priced this year, and we're good. So OSU's basketball schedule looks really nice, honestly, just as a pure fan, in my opinion. And we
got some good games this year.
We really do. We got Cincinnati. They're not ranked this year, but
They will.
They are a good team. Then our third game at home against Villanova. And for those OSU students out there, that will be the free game of this year. They're going to get free tickets for that game.
That'll be awesome.
First come, first serve. And Villanova is 10 this year, so it's a better team than last year, hypothetically. We've got North Carolina at North Carolina for the ACC Big Ten Challenge. That could be a good game. That could be a really nice game to prove.
Didn't we play them last year, too?
I think we played not a very good team. I think we played like Syracuse or Louisville or something like that. One of those teams.
It was Syracuse, and we lost.
Okay. And then we got the normal conference games, but then just the rest of the non-conference schedule. We have number 2 Kentucky this year at Kentucky.
Wow.
I don't know how we ended up with that game, but we have it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's another great game. It'll be at a 5:15 game. And then just within our conference, some solid teams this year. Maryland is 7, so we got home and away against them. That'll be a really good game. And then Michigan State, we have home and away against them. They are ranked number 1 in the country. So that could be really big for us.
We might have one of the toughest schedules. And for the Winter Classic that we do every year, we play West Virginia in Cleveland.
Yeah, we do play West Virginia. I don't think they're as good as they used to be, but they're always like kind of
a big hype game.
Exactly. They're always a good game. That's just a really good defensive game. They always have a really good press, and they somehow sneak into the tournament every year. And then Purdue is the next great Big Ten team. They're ranked number 23 right now. Some people have them higher than Ohio State even. But Ohio State right now is 18th in the AP rankings, which is actually kind of low compared to a lot of the other rankings that people were coming out with.
Right.
They're 16th in college in coaches rankings. And even like Sports Illustrated had them at 10. ESPN Power Rankings had them a little bit higher than that. And that's due to Caleb Wesson and our recruiting class.
I think Ohio State's basketball uniforms are one of the best in college.
They really are.
They're sick.
Yeah. And I hope they use those jerseys they used last year from that Nike
throwback
tournament.
Ones?
Those are nice too. Yeah, with like the cursive Ohio and everything.
Yeah, those are awesome.
But I just love like the all red. Like I don't know if you remember the ones that they used in the Nike tournament last year. Like that was like in honor of like the Phil Knight or whatever, that tournament where we played against Gonzaga. Those jerseys really are nice.
I'm looking them up. Oh, I typed in OSU and Oklahoma State came up.
Of course, like use our location. But Caleb Wesson, and he's been having an insane career with us.
Oh, okay, I see the all red ones.
Those are nice, aren't they?
They are pretty nice.
Exactly. Look them up if you guys are listening and want to know what those are.
We played Butler in them.
Yeah, and then we beat Butler, I believe, and went to go play Gonzaga because of it. Because it was a tournament.
Hey, this is bad radio, but is this Austin Mack?
It looks like him, but
doesn't it?
It does.
Or Alex Mack? Or Austin Mack?
You're right, Austin Mack, yeah. But Caleb Wesson, ESPN came out with rankings for the season of their top 25 college basketball players. They had him at 6 in the country, which is pretty insane. He will be a senior this year. I thought he was actually a junior, but he will be a senior this year. And it'll be a big year for him because he is going to obviously be going into the draft this year. He'll need to prove himself, and he doesn't have to worry about putting the entire team on his back too much this year because OSU actually has the number 1 recruiting class within the Big Ten. With 4-star guard DJ Carton and 4-star forward EJ Liddell.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I really hope that they turn out to be great. And even Luther Muhammad,
I was going to say,
he should be coming up and improving from last year. C.J. Walker, last year's Florida State transfer, another year the program should be better. Caleb Wesson's brother, he's been doing a lot better. Andre Wesson. I think that we could be a really sneaky good team. Every year we end up doing better than what we're projected to do, so I'm kind of happy that they put it as 18 because it just gives us a better chance to prove how good we really are and move up in those rankings.
We actually have some hype around us this year, though. So
we really do.
We'll see how they react with our program kind of being underdogs the last 2 years. How are they going to react when they're actually favored to win some games?
That's true. I think that Chris Holtman's that great coach, and if anyone's going to get him to play to their level, it's going to be him, and he'll probably get them to play even above their level. I think it will still be kind of a defensive-heavy team. We're not a big 3-point shooting team. especially after losing some of our big 3-point guys from last year. It'll be interesting to see who our leader of the team is this year. After losing, I can't think of his name right now, our number 1 guard from last year. He graduated. So it'll be interesting to see if it'll be Caleb Weston that takes over, or if it'll be one of the freshmen, or Luther Muhammad, Andre Wesson. We'll see what happens. Any other comments about the year for you?
I'm just really excited. I'm thinking about going to that game on Wednesday. I'm looking at tickets right now.
Yeah, I got an email the other day. They're saying that they're selling tickets like $10 for students, which is insane. Like that's especially now that we're actually good and everything. That's great. They're saying like $10 all season even. Like I think 14 for like Big Ten or something like that. Not bad at all.
We only have 2 games before Villanova, so we play Villanova in 11 days.
Yeah, and I definitely do want to go to that Villanova game, especially with it being
on FS
free. Mm-hmm. I think that could be a good sneaky win for us. Really boost us in the rankings for sure.
We shall see. It's in. Is it in the Schottenstein Center?
It is.
It is. Cool. I didn't know if they had it downtown, since it would be a bigger game, but that doesn't even make sense why they would do that. All right, Dustin, do you got anything else for us today on this bye-week episode?
I do have one more thing.
Okay.
We're not going to get into it really because we've already kind of talked about it, but the big news of college sports in general this past... C.J. Jackson was who I was trying to think of. He ended up having...
God.
He was right up there with Caleb Weston, the 2 top scorers from last year, so we'll see who takes that role of being the leading scorer with Caleb Weston. But either way, the big news from college sports this past week was that the NCAA came out and announced with a unanimous vote that they have decided to let athletes earn money from their own likeness, their own brand. They're not going to get paid from the NCAA or from their school, but they can get paid from outside people. A lot of people have been coming out saying, well, if that's true, give us back our wins, like Ohio State,
USC.
Reggie Bush, Florida, I believe, too, lost something. I don't remember. I think that I saw someone talking about that. But either way, I don't think it'll happen because they're never going to go back.
It was the rules at the time. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's just what they have to go by. But it'll be interesting to see how this changes the sport. Dabo Swinney said earlier this year if college athletes start getting paid, he will quit his job. Not going to happen because they're technically not paid.
Is he going to Tony Grossi it?
Yeah, I don't know. But either way, it'll be really interesting to see how the sport is changed. I don't think it changes anything really.
Not really.
Maybe some guys go to the bigger markets, but what better market when it comes to football than Ohio State?
Yeah.
You have people that will pay anything to do that. I mean, just look at JT Barrett, how much money he made right after he graduated. He probably makes more money in autographs and the memorabilia stuff than he does actually playing for the Saints.
Oh, guarantee it.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I just think about how much Chase Young could be making right now.
It'll be awesome, and they're going to probably bring back NCAA football for us. So
that's the biggest thing.
Video game
I really hope they do that because I would love to play with this Ohio State team right now. That'd be so much fun.
Oh, dude, that'd be so much fun.
It would be.
It actually would be.
Yeah.
Damn.
I would just run with Justin Fields the entire time.
I would manual Chase Young.
Yeah.
So I would just play D'Angelo.
And honestly, my favorite thing whenever I'm playing Madden or even the old NCAA is just I pick the team that has the best running back because I'm not a good passer at all. J.K. Dobbins.
There you go.
I'll just run with him.
And then Master Teague. When you need some enforcer.
Exactly. Or maybe they can bring back some guys like Zeke or something like that. That'd be nice.
They should make it for all the teams that we missed.
Yeah, they really should. Like being able to play with Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, and Chase Young on one team.
Oh. All right, we're getting ahead of ourselves on this one.
We'll have to think about that more. I don't know.
Well, they haven't said anything. They have the NCAA or EA Sports hasn't said anything about it. I don't think.
That'd be interesting just to see the top team, like Ohio State, the best players at every position since 2012.
Yeah, it was 2012 last year.
I think so. NCAA football 12. Or maybe earlier, but maybe we'll have to come up with that next week. We'll have to put together our best players that have not been in a college football game yet.
Okay. Just Ohio State or any team?
We'll just do Ohio State.
Okay. You know what?
Because I feel like you get too much into it. Like, Lamar Jackson obviously would be insane to have in that game.
Oh, yeah. He's insane in Madden.
Exactly.
A sneaky good game, though, is NCAA basketball. Sneaky
I never
good.
played it.
Sneaky good. That's what I'm saying. Not many people played it, but sneaky good.
Yeah.
I think I might even like that more growing up than NCAA football.
An underrated thing about NCAA football that I liked playing when I was a kid
Was the mascots?
Yeah,
I knew you were going to say the mascots.
It was like
mascots were
it was so random, but it was kind of funny just to see like Brutus running around with the football getting tackled by like a bulldog or something like that.
Duck.
Yeah,
absolutely, I agree with you. I don't even know that's underrated. That's just awesome.
I wonder if they'll bring that back.
Oh, they have to. They absolutely have to. Anything else you got today?
That's it.
All right. Feel better.
Thank you.
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.